When you graduate and you think, why do I have no money? Why can't I buy property? Why can't I buy a house? Because you did buy a house. It's in your student loan. The kitty ears are on. The kitty ears are on. Welcome, family, to Monday TikTok. All right. And I do mean TikTok, T-A-L-K. That was not a typo. All right. Let's take a look here at some college debt stuff. Might even make you feel better about your own situation. Let's hit it. I'm so glad you're here.
Whether or not you completely pay off your student loans before marriage is totally up to you. Obviously, if you have the money to do so, you may want to start off with a clean slate. But if that's not possible, you and your partner should really talk about how those loans are going to be paid off during your marriage, and whether, if your partner is going to be the one paying them off, whether they will be entitled to some reimbursement in the event of divorce.
Ooh, okay, let's just all pause there for a minute, okay? How many people get married and they do not discuss how the debt is going to be paid? And you know, many times you'll hear people say something like this next to, oh, I love you unconditionally and I'll take all your debt with me because love will take care of it all. Young people, don't buy into that, okay? Love does not pay the bills. That really is true. But here's something that you hear a lot of the times, especially if the person, this is especially common where one person has debt and the other does not. So we'll just throw it out here. We'll say the woman has debt, the guy does not. Okay. Yes, it could be reversed. I understand that, but just follow me here. Okay. So let's say the woman has debt, the guy does not. And the woman says to the guy, oh, don't worry about my debt. I've been paying my debt and I can handle it just fine. You don't have to pay anything towards it. Well, that really doesn't work, because once you join as a union, somebody's paying that debt. Whether the woman's going to pay the debt off with her paycheck, all right, and the guy is going to support the household, because let's say the woman has so much debt, you know, it takes up her entire paycheck, okay, or a good portion of it, or whether or not the guy's going to pay her debt and the woman's going to pay for the household. Once you're a union, it's a big money pot, and it doesn't matter. It's kind of like when people have kids, and you'll hear a case where, again, just follow my example here, okay? The woman, let's just say she has 2 kids, the guy has none, all right? And she says something like, oh, you know, my kids, I've been affording my kids, they're not going to cost you anything. What's wrong with having a relationship with me? I'm not saying he shouldn't, all right? But the bottom line is, logically, if you marry someone with children, read if you marry someone with debt, because kids cost money, all right? He's got to realize that, you know, when Christmas time comes around and birthday time comes around, and when you go out to eat, buy groceries, he hopefully, if he's a good guy, he's not going to say, well, I'm going to buy Christmas presents for you, honey, but I'm not going to buy holiday presents for your kids because they're not my responsibility, because you can handle it. Or when we go out to eat, okay, he's just going to pay for himself and his wife, and he's not going to pay for the stepkids. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense logistically. It doesn't make sense morally. It just doesn't make sense. You marry someone with debt. That debt is as much a part of the family unit, all right, as if you have children or anything else. You can't divide that. Now then, the part about the debt and marriage. This is something that really does need to be taken seriously, and I don't think a lot of people do. I had a relative who married someone. They divorced. The person, extended relative, I should say, okay, not immediate family, but extended, all right? They divorced, okay? This relative of mine divorced. The person that they were married to had kids who had debt. And I have to be honest, one of the first questions I asked this relative was, did you sign off on student loans to your ex-spouse? And I'll be honest, thankfully she did not. So when they split up, he was responsible for his own kids and debt and all of that. But let's just say she had married him and she had put money into their schooling. All right. Whether it be into the kids' schooling or whether it be into the spouse's schooling. And let's say the union breaks up. Is there some sort of agreement? Do they want to have one? It's up to the individual couple, but does that couple want to have an agreement where, look, if the relationship breaks up, that person who had no student loan debt, specifically, okay, that person who had no student loan debt, but they helped support paying off someone who did have student loan debt, do they get the money back? Now, some people can sit and go, oh man, that's not a very loving thing. Well, with 50% of marriages ending in divorce, I think we need to take a look at it, from a financial protection standpoint. And again, this really depends upon how much debt someone's coming in with. I mean, if somebody's coming in with $10,000-$15,000 worth of let's say student loan debt, okay, because that's what this TikTok is about. I'm not going to quibble over that, but let's say somebody comes in with $100,000 of student loan debt. Let's say somebody comes in with $50,000 of student loan debt, okay, and you help your spouse to pay that off, either directly or indirectly. Directly meaning you write a check to help pay your spouse's loan, or you tell your spouse, hey, don't worry, I'm going to take on all the bills because you're the one holding the student loan debt, and everything you make, you're going to put it towards the student loan. And then 5 years, 10 years, whatever number of years later, the relationship breaks up. Is there, it would almost have to be a prenuptial agreement, okay? Is there a prenuptial agreement that, hey, the money I spent in helping you pay off your student loan, I want it reimbursed? To me, it's really, really going to depend on multiple factors. And one of them, of course, is how much was the student loan before, okay? 15, 20, 50, 100,000. I mean, those are big number differences, okay? And I would probably also have to look at what were the assets after the marriage, was breaking up. If you come in, I mean, I'm not really petty when it comes to having to divide every little penny up. I think that gets kind of silly. So let's say I helped a guy pay off his $30,000 student loan, and we have a marriage that lasts together 20 years, and we've amassed enough, profit in other areas and stuff. Am I really going to be petty and go, remember that $30,000 student loan from 20, 25 years ago? That's not me. That's just not my style, okay? But let's say you did marry someone and you help them pay off their $30,000 in student loan, and the marriage ends in under 10 years. Should there be some sort of obligation? I have no answers for that, but it is something to think about. But I'm not petty, so it would have to be a pretty big amount for me to, sit and go, it needs to be in a prenup. Otherwise, it's just part of the package. It's like when you marry someone with kids. It's just part of the package for the most part. I'm not equating kids to student loan debt. Don't get me wrong on that. All right, let's look at this next one. All right, this is one of the sad, teary ones, people, and I do have my bifocals on, so I can read it, thank goodness. All right, let's see what it says here. It says, you got a young lady, for those who can't see the screen, you have a young lady, and she's reflecting like she's staring into the moonlight with kind of that serious, her lips say serious, her eyes are in that glaze of maybe momentary lost and hopelessness. There, I've just given you the visuals of that, okay? Here's what it says on the screen. She says, after 4 years of stressing for the best grades, staying up late, studying, doing homework, eating the most disgusting dining hall meals, and ending up with $100K in debt and a job that pays $29,000 a year. Should I read that again? I think I should. All right. After 4 years of stressing for the best grades, staying up late, studying, doing homework, eating the most disgusting dining hall meals, and ending up with $100K in debt and a job that pays $29K a year. Let me guess. She probably didn't major in STEM. What is it? Something about the math and all that stuff, all right? Engineering, yada, yada, science, math, engineering, all that stuff. Technical trades. She didn't do that. I'm willing to bet if she's in a $29,000 a year job, methinks it was probably a liberal arts degree. I know, and again, I was a liberal arts major. I got my degree in journalism in 1989 from the University of Oregon. Okay, graduated when I was 21, and that's when college degrees were actually considered, no, I won't say lucrative, but you were pretty much guaranteed a job. okay, with a college degree, because they weren't as popular as they are now, when we didn't have all the schools that, online schools and the fake schools and the profit schools. It's become a mess. All right. So if she owes 100 grand, she's making 29 a year. There was no parent in the room. There was no parent in the room. You really can't pay off 100K student loan on 29 a year after taxes. She's going to need roommates and stuff. Let us continue listening to the sad music here.
I honestly think that student loans are so evil and predatory. They target people fresh out of high school, many of whom have absolutely no experience living on their own or managing their own finances. They sell them on this lie that, like, hey, it's okay if you take out all this debt now because later you'll be making so much money.
Oh, yes, and we know. I dropped my fan down on the floor. That's why I was looking down on the floor. We know that a lot of predatory loans came from for-profit schools, okay? The ones that charged you 3 times the tuition. And, I got my master's degree in organizational management from the University of Phoenix, and that's something I probably will leave off my resume for the rest of my life. The sad part is the instructors were great. The instructors, absolutely loved the instructors. And I think we need to remember when we talk about, colleges, whether, especially the ones that were defunct and all of that, it's really not the instructor's fault. It was the business model setup of the school. So I think we have to be really careful, because it's easy for us to think, oh man, when we think of the school, we think of all the teachers and everything else. No. I had great instructors. It's the business model of the school that is at fault. So that's what she's talking about. Yeah, a lot of these fly-by-night schools, some of them, which if you have federal loans, they are still in the process of forgiving them. Oh, yes, they are, including University of Phoenix from a certain time period, okay? But a lot of these schools were going, yeah, you know what? You go to the Art Institute? Wasn't that one of the worst and scammiest schools? Oh, my goodness, okay? They're not even around anymore. But you had schools going, oh, yeah, you know what? You pay us 3 times the cost of a degree, 3 times more than what's going to cost you at a state school, all right? And, yeah, we'll guarantee you this great job that's going to start at, $70, $80, $90, whatever, $1,000 per year. And all they were doing was just taking students' money and passing it to the shareholders. So the big cats at the corporate board office could go on retreats, all right, in Hawaii. And I'm not lying.
Be able to pay it back. It might as well be a multi-level marketing scheme.
Ah, yes. A multi-level marketing scheme. Only the people at the top get paid.
So first of all, do not beat yourself up about this. It is not your fault. This system is evil.
Well, and here's the thing, and you've heard me say it before, family, on this channel. A school is evil. All right? Or at least not reputable. Evil, they are kind of evil. But we've got to watch our words here. A school is not reputable if you see it advertised in the afternoon. Any school, if you see it advertised in the afternoon when most of the people are at work, and they say something to you like, so, are you just tired of lying on your couch eating potato chips, watching the sun go by, watching the world go by? Are you tired of, having nothing to do? You feel like you're putting your life on hold? They kind of talk like that. Well, you know what? It's time for you to get off that couch, and you need to dial 1-800-SCREW-ME-OVER. Okay, when you're seeing ads like that, and just usually by someone dressed, really casually in street clothes, okay, trying to convince you that you need to go to this school and all your dreams will come true. And then, of course, they've always got that one student that they interviewed, that looks like they just got out of bed. And that student saying something like, yes, and I went to name that fake school, and, and I got a really good job, and I'm working now for this company, and I'm making $30 an hour or whatever. Guys, those whole ads are all scams. They are trying to get you, who may or may not have a job in the middle of the day, all right? Or you have a job in the middle of the day and you feel like you're going nowhere. They're tugging at your emotions, all right? They're tugging at your emotions to try to get you to go. And for a lot of these young people, what's especially stinky about this is that a lot of these young people may not have gotten a traditional high school diploma. Okay, in other words, they got like a GED or a degree, where you don't graduate with your traditional class. All right. And a lot of times colleges, even today, colleges can get kind of, turn their nose up to GED applicants. I don't know how bad it is today, but I do know, I mean, it's the world we live in. Tell someone you have a high school diploma, tell someone you have a GED. All things being equal, who are they going to pick? They're going to pick the one with the high school diploma. So these scammy colleges know that. They knew that. They continue to know that. So a lot of this preying on people was for people who had GEDs, had lower paying jobs, okay, and just weren't as knowledgeable about school. So it's easy to promise someone like that, hey, you know what? Just call this 800 number and we'll solve all your problems.
Next thing to know is that even if you file bankruptcy, your student loans don't go away. You're stuck with them forever. If you find yourself in a position where you're not able to make your student loan payments, there are some convenient short-term options. Like, for example, you can defer your student loan payments, so you're not making any payments on them for a set amount of time.
And that can be a nightmare. Defer, because interest. Always remember, folks, okay? When they say defer, forbearance, delay, push it forward, whatever, it's going to cost you. Nothing's for free.
Sometimes like up to a year. Or there's income-based repayments where you can pay just a portion of your income, which if that's really small, your payments are really small.
Okay, and I'm an expert on income-based payments. It's just like a credit card. You pay income-based, you will never pay off that bill. The bill will only go higher. How many people breathe a sigh of relief and go, phew, I have zero interest. I have zero payment. Okay? But that doesn't stop the interest. And by the way, without getting off track, the SAVE plan, Saving on a Valuable Education, the Biden SAVE plan, guys, it's tanking real fast. Okay? Income-based payments do not pay off the loan. So really, the only people that should be on income-based payments are people who are in public service jobs. Teacher, firefighter, nurse, military, okay? Public, you've heard me say it, work at the DMV, okay? Public service, city, state, government employees. But remember, you got to put your time in there, 10 years. Those are really the only people that should be on income-based. Anybody else that's on income-based, yeah, all right, so your payments are low, but the bill keeps going up. You'll have to pay it for about 20 to 25 years, okay? That's like a generation and a half of kids. And then guess what happens after the 20, 25 years are up? You have to pay taxes on the forgiven portion. They don't really spell that out, though. And when I took on income-based payments for my student loan, my $110,000 student loan that was forgiven in 2022, when I took out the loans in 2006 and I carried those loans for 16 years, I did not know, and I was not ever directly told, that my income-based payment would continue to have the bill go up. And when I finally did know, which was probably, it was probably about 8 years later, well, by then I was solidly in my teaching job, and I didn't worry about it. For the most part, okay, I didn't worry about it. But that's because I was in a public service job. They're really the only people, family, that should be on income-based payment, public service workers.
Regardless, your loans are still probably going up in value.
Okay, she's using the wrong term. She's saying the loan is going up in value. Value means it's a good thing. No, they're going up in debt. The debt is getting higher. That's what I was just explaining to you. I think that's what she really meant to say. If something goes up in value, that's great.
Because they're still accruing interest this entire time. Which is why I think the best option is honestly to bite the bullet and start tackling it now. But release yourself of the shame.
Release yourself of the shame, yes. But learn the lesson so you don't get back into it again. All right, we have some more sad music. My selection of sad music, people, I think it's just fantastic. All right, so we have a lady looking straight into the camera like this. All right, let's see what she has to say. I have to tilt my glasses because always I got to go like this. All right. All right. Because the bifocals are on the bottom. All right. She says here, when you dropped out of college because you couldn't afford it, and now you have to pay them back in order to transfer campuses. Oh, so she dropped out. She can't afford it. And now she wants to go to another school and she has to pay them back. You know, that is something, especially young people, you need to think about. All right. If you go to one school, you take some classes and you're like, no, I'm out of here and I'm taking the credits with me. Not so fast. The school can say, no. First off, one problem is this problem. If you owe the school money, they can hold off on giving you the credit. So you can't get the, what is it? The transfer paperwork, okay, that shows what classes you took. That's one problem. Another problem, of course, is the school you want to go to, even if you can get the transfer credits and paperwork, the school that you want to go to may not accept those courses. True story. I had a gal pal who, this was when the fly-by-night skanky schools were around. This was like 20 years ago, okay, because I wasn't even a teacher yet. And she went to one of these fly-by-night schools. Kid you not. And I tried to warn her because I was raised by teachers, so I kind of knew what fly-by-night schools were. Even though Phoenix hasn't had the greatest reputation, it's slowly improving, although I wouldn't go there, okay? But that aside, she did go to a fly-by-night school, and I said to her, these credits are never going to transfer. And she's like, oh, no, it will, it will. Well, she literally gets a degree in it, and I put degree in quotes because the school turned out to be a scam, and it was one that was put into the student loan forgiveness program, all right? School turned out to be a scam. She tried to go to another school hoping she could transfer those credits. They rejected the entire thing. She wanted to go to a state school that was more reputable. They rejected the entire 2-year transcript. That's the word I was looking for, transcript. They rejected the whole thing. You have to be very careful when you choose a school. Not only do you need to be careful about choosing the first school, but if you think you're going to transfer, you better make sure that the school you're going to is reputable and the transcript, the transfer classes on that transcript will be accepted by the next school. Also, keep in mind that the longer you wait in between schools to transfer, like let's just say you go to school A. You don't like school A, you drop out. So you decide to go to school B, but you're going to wait 6 years before you go to school B. People do this. So much time may have passed that credits that would have transferred, years earlier, they'll go, no, it's too outdated. Changing schools is expensive. The best way to protect yourself is to go to reputable community colleges. People, I'm telling you, community college. Their courses credits almost always are accepted by in-state schools and even out-of-state schools. Of course, you still need to check for your major and all that. But guys, I'm telling you, like I said, if you see that ad at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a work day, you know to run from that school advertisement. So here she is. She dropped out of school, is upset because she has to pay them back in order to transfer campuses. Yeah, because they're not going to give her transcript until she does.
The more I've evolved, the more I came to realize that getting degrees, let's talk about it.
This lady, this is a little bit long, so like a couple minutes, but I think what she has to say is really noteworthy. All right, so let's hear her out. She did use a few expletives, so I had to, take those out.
Now, before y'all come stone me to death, I'm not saying that going to school and getting degrees is a bad thing. But what I am saying is, why the hell we got to pay for it?
Because unfortunately in our country, education is a business. Always remember this. Education is a business here in the United States. In other countries, it's not so much of a business. It's like here in the United States, healthcare is a business. All right? Education is a business. Always remember that. So when you're sitting across the financial aid office, you're going, well, should I go to this school? What do you think the financial aid officer is going to say? Of course you should. And depending upon what type of school you're going to, that so-called financial aid person is probably going to get a kickback on you signing on the line to attend that school. Yeah.
So when I'm done with these 4 years, I leave there, I owe y'all about 100 grand that I got to go get a job that doesn't even pay me a livable income to pay y'all back.
Which is why, and I failed in doing this, all right? So I'm not throwing stones here, okay? Which is why when you choose a major, you need to check what that major pays when you're done. The standard rule is you should not spend more on your entire college degree for a major than what that major pays in its first year. Okay? So let's say you want to be a teacher, and in your state a first year teacher would make $45,000. Then that is the absolute most you should pay for your degree. And I can speak from experience. I messed that one up real bad. So when you're walking out with $100,000 degree, $100,000 student loan bill, did you major in something that its first year is going to pay 100 grand? And how many of us go to college and we don't even see the bill? Oh no, the bill's never seen because the because the federal government, if these are federal loans or if they're private loans, okay, they give the money straight to the school. Isn't that convenient? I don't know if private student loans do that, but I know federal loans. No, the school can set it right up. You don't even have to see the money. All you got to do is worky and enjoy the spa and the other, resort luxury that, things that you see on a college campus. That's all you got to do. And before you know it, 4 years has passed. You throw your hat in the air. They hand you the bill and they go, and in 60 days, your first payment is due of $650 a month. Right?
Now, to mind you, I got my own bills. So if I can't defer these payments or get out of these payments, I got to start setting up a payment plan to give y'all the money back.
And if you defer the payments, what did I just teach your family? Yes, the bill goes higher.
That y'all loaned me while I went to school to get a degree. And then on top of having that degree, you come to find out that ain't no jobs available for that degree. So now you have...
Which is why, again, we, as the consumer of student loan debt, meaning we are the students, we are the ones taking on the money, we have to check. Did we do a market check to see how many jobs there are in our community for what we're majoring for? Did we consider that we might have to move to do the job? One of the jobs, I've seen this too, okay? What is it? Museum curator. God, I hate to slam the liberal arts degrees, but again, I'm a liberal arts major in journalism, all right? At least I showed them that I could type. But you get degrees like museum curator. Oh, okay. Well, first of all, do we even need museums anymore? I mean, if I want to see what's going on in Hong Kong, I am sure that somewhere there's a live cam that I can stream from here in Tampa. You see? But we tend to, get careless and we major in things because of emotion, not because it's financially logical.
To get rid of that degree and go do that you ain't even got no degree in.
So what she was saying, because I had to bleep it out, is we pay all this money to get a degree, and then there are no jobs in that degree. So now we're going to go do another job like work at Starbucks, and we didn't even need a degree in that.
I worked at 3 jobs that required you to have a BA. I had all 3 of them jobs, and not one of them jobs on one day asked me to see that BA.
All right, let's all get real here, family. How many of you have done a job at any level, and they've gone, we would like to see your college transcript to, first off, know that you really went to that college or set of colleges. We'd also like to see the GPA receipt. Nobody asked that. I'm 57. It's never happened. From Kinko's, well, I'd say from Kinko's to working insurance, never had it. Now then, to be a teacher, I will say this, licensed jobs I think are a bit different. Okay, to be a teacher, yeah, I had to prove my college transcript. But these are licensed jobs. I think jobs that require licensing, not all jobs require licensing, but some professional jobs that require licensing, yeah, you're going to have to show your transcript. I had to show my transcript to be a teacher. But that kind of makes sense. It's the world of education. Okay, but in other jobs, you may not have to show a transcript at all. But other than being a teacher, no. I never, when I was in insurance, worked in insurance, no, never had to show Show it. That's why so many people, put down, and I graduated from Harvard.
They never asked me for a copy of that BA. They didn't give a damn if I even had it. Know why? Because they was looking for somebody to fill their spot because they was tired of doing 15 people jobs at one and not getting paid. They needed somebody that they can program to do their system so they can keep the wheel rolling.
She's right. All right, we have some more sad music. I try to disperse out the sad music so we have a little talk and a little sad music. All right, so we have a lady here, and she's standing in front of her house looking like this. And her screen says $50,000 in student loans for my degree in psychology. Oh, sweet Jesus. Oh, 50K. Who was the psychological trick pulled on? Sometimes you got to ask yourself that. Okay, $50,000 in student loans for a psychology degree. That's kind of reminds me of, when you read things like, and $50,000 to be a minister. She says on the next, this is the same screen. She says, I don't even work. What? I missed that. Oh, wow. So she paid $50,000 to go to school to not work. Maybe she's a stay-at-home mom. I don't know. What is it they say? More than half of us that have college degrees will never work in what we majored in. I believe that statistic is about right. Okay, so let's look at this next lovely young lady with $303,000 in student loans. You've heard me say it. When you are talking figures, 6 figures on up. Okay, my 840 square foot condo cost me $100,000 in 2020. It's running for about $175,000 now in 2024. Okay, now you have this here, this young lady, 303. This lady has just bought a house. Okay, my $100,000. You bought a small little apartment. Her, you just bought a house. So when you graduate and you think, why do I have no money? Why can't I buy property? Why can't I buy a house? Because you did buy a house. It's in your student loan. Let's hear her out.
I owe $303,000 in student loans. Let's go over what the payment looks like. Okay, if I do like a 10-year basic plan, I owe all of these each month on each student loans. I have 26. So it's 205, 47, 26, 261, 254. The list goes on. But I'm going to do the income-based repayment plan, but I'm not always going to do this. But right now,
how many people say, I'm just going to do this for a while? I'm just going to do the income-based payment plan. And as you know, because I taught you earlier, all right, it has interest, okay? Income-based, you'll never pay it off, and the interest keeps going. That's why I say it should only be for public service. So she says she's just going to do it for a while. How many of you say you're going to just do something for a while when it comes to money? All right? And not in a good way. Like, hey, just for a while, I'm going to put, $1,000 a month away savings. No, but it's just for a while, all right? I'm going to take my money and put it somewhere else because I got so much debt. I don't know how to pay it off. And then that little while becomes longer and longer, right?
now it makes the most sense. I think this is based on my tax return from like 2 years ago. I don't know. Also could be wrong. I'm waiting to figure it out. But this is my monthly payment. It's $11.42. Because if I stay on this payment, which I'm not going to, I'll eventually switch. It'd be $371,000. I pay it off in 2043, and I would be forgiven $296,000.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Okay. This is when I need my sidekick, Jamie. Jamie and I were talking on the phone the other day. If you live stream with us on Thursdays, she jumps in when she can. But Jamie's really good at writing all this stuff down. You can see, Miss Jamie, I got no paper here, okay? And I would have tried to write down. Okay, $11.42 a month. To put this in perspective, okay? And I'm bad at numbers. Okay, I got to write this down. Hold on. Oh, I just can't. Everybody just hold. No, I don't edit this stuff out. We just do this as it happens. This is a casual channel. I rarely edit things out. I don't care if I drop it, whatever. We just pick it up. It's live. All right. I'm going to have to play this back, guys. She had so much stuff here. Hold on. Just Everybody just hold. We're going to hear this again.
Month on each student loans. I have 26. So it's 205, 47, 26, 261, 254. The list goes on. But I'm going to do the income-based repayment plan, but I'm not always going to do this. But right now it makes the most sense. I think this is based on my tax return from like 2 years ago. I don't know. Also could be wrong. I'm waiting to figure it out. But this is my monthly payment. It's $1142. Because if I stay on this payment, which I'm not going to, I'll eventually switch. It'd be $371,000. I pay it off in 2043, and I would be forgiven $296,000. You might think it's great to be forgiven $296,000. It's not. You have to pay taxes on it.
Okay. $1142 a month. So let's just round it off to $1,200. Okay. We're just going to round. Taking my notes here. All right. We're going to round it off to $1,200. This is her student loan per month. Let's put this in perspective. Once my car gets paid off and about 4 more payments, my Toyota Corolla that I purchased 8 months ago, brand new, $26,000. I put down about $9,000. My entire cost of living, not counting what I purchased for food, okay? And I estimate $500 a month for food. But my base cost of living, as my bills are now, HOA fee, student loan, not HOA, excuse me, HOA fee, what is it? Car insurance, stuff like that. All my bills total is the exact same amount as her student loan, $1,200 a month. Then I add on another $500 for food. That's brings me to $1,700 a month. This is how damaging students' loans are when they run wild. And you want to know why you have to work 2-3 jobs to pay things off? She has a mortgage. This $303,000, this is a house mortgage. If she said to me, hey, I bought a house mortgage and it's $1,200, I'd say, good. I'd go, wonderful. Okay? Sounds like you did pretty well there. I don't know if you can get that today, but you understand my point. This is a student loan. When you allow your bills, and it doesn't even matter if it could be credit cards, but we're, of course, in this case, we're interested in the student loan. You can't go bankrupt on this. A $303,000 house, you can go bankrupt on if you find that it's just, you just can't handle it. This is where your money goes. Was that degree worth the house? Okay? Because right now, you have to remember, you're going to take on student loans and you're going to give up the house. The only people that should be getting $100,000 degrees, if you're not going into medical or some real high-tech job where the company's practically paying for it, I can't think of a whole lot of degrees that really, I can't think of a whole lot of jobs as to why you need to spend $100,000 in student loans. I just can't. I mean, we know why it racks up to $100,000 because you're living off it, you're partying off it, you're taking your spring breaks off it, you're going to your teas and all of that stuff, and it seemed like free money. And when the checks were rolling in, all right, when the payments were rolling in, of course, it goes straight to the student, it goes straight to the college, so you never have to see it. You don't think that's not designed that way? You really think the federal government and the private student loan companies send it straight to the school just because it's convenient for you? No, it's convenient for them. They want you to forget the bill. They want you to enjoy the college experience. They want you to forget it. Okay? Because after all, everybody takes out student loans and everybody goes into debt. That's just part of growing up because student loan debt is good debt. Remember, when a bill bypasses you and you're told, oh, but it's the convenient way to do it. We don't want to burden you and send you the bill each month. Or each quarter. We don't want you to have to sit down and look at the check, take it to your bank. No. That's not convenient. We are happy to provide that service. Always remember, when someone gives you a service and they make it convenient for you not to ever have to look at the bill, it's because the money is going in their pocket, not yours. And I understand that you're getting a degree and there is a cost associated with that. And it's fair that, okay, fine. But come on. You got people coming out with a psychology degree for $50,000. You have people coming out with bachelor degrees at $40,000, $50,000. We've even done stories, family, on people with bachelor degrees going to private school coming out with $100,000. And they go, where'd it go? I never saw my bills. I never saw it. So yeah, you can put it on deferment and all that stuff. And she says this is only temporary. When you're talking a $1,200 a month student loan bill, that is not a temporary problem. It's a long-term problem. And remember that first video we just looked at? Remember the first video? The guy said, if you marry someone and, someone has student loan debt, okay, how do you want to work that out in the marriage? Should the marriage end? At $100,000, now we talking. $100,000, that's a whole lot of money. So let's say someone does marry her, helps her pay off that $100,000 student loan. Say the marriage ends in just a few years. It happens, okay? Should there be some prenuptial agreement that says whether or not that loan should be paid back? That is not something I can answer, okay? It's just something for you to consider.
So interest starts back tomorrow. I obviously was late planning everything, so I'll let you guys know what my final monthly payment is. Let me know if you have questions.
Oh, more sad music. Okay, it says here, we have a lady and she's covering her mouth and looking kind of surprised. She said, just found out my student loans are $230,000. Holy jeez. $250,000, okay? Just found out my student loans are $230,000. Feeling super lucky and blessed to be alive right now. Special thanks to NYU, New York University. I wouldn't be here without them. All right, everyone, pause for a second. I got a few things to say on this. This is TikTok, Talk, after all. Okay. She says, just found out my loans were $230,000. Guys, I could not have made a better segue from what I was just discussing on this last TikTok. Then I said to you, how is it that we don't know what the bills are? Because it goes straight from the federal government or private student loan company to the school. She said she just found out. New York University, one of the most expensive schools in the United States. Holy Jesus. So I just hit a button there. Hold on, everybody, just hold. There we go. So she's acting all surprised. She probably is surprised. She probably went to NYU and figured this is 4 years of college. Of college resort fun. She just found out. So she bought a house herself, and she didn't realize she was buying a house. And I've said it before, for about every $100,000 in student loans, estimate, okay, about $1,000 a month payback. Okay, if you're trying to pay it off in like a 10-year period or so. This is ridiculous. This is going to be a couple $1,000s a month to pay off. She will probably have this loan extended to 20 years. So let's also remember, when you extend a loan to 20 years, I've had people actually ask me, does that mean 20 years I have to pay on it, or I just have to hold the bill for 20 years? No, it means you have to pay on it for the equivalent of 20 years. Wouldn't it be great? I could write up a $300,000 bill and just sit on it for 20 years. No, you have to actually have made 20 years worth of payments. This is how people from the 1980s actually are holding on to student loan bills today that they can't pay off. Oh, $230,000. What does she look like? She looked like maybe she's 25 years old. This is where your mortgage. This is a mortgage. Oh, must continue the sad music. And then she makes a move like she wants to, hit the camera. Whose fault is this? We have to remember that we must take personal responsibility. I know that's like such a word that I get sick of hearing, but to a certain extent, all right? If she really is this shocked at the $250,000, there was no parent in the room. But I think part of the fault also, because I'm going to put something on the student. I understand that they're young and impressionable and they were told go to school. Okay, I get that. But how many students actually have been warned and have been told, hey, this school's really expensive. This school's going to cost you a lot of money. I guarantee you, there have been students who have been told this. I can also guarantee you there are parents who have told their child this. And what does the child do? They put on their kitty ears and they go, I can't hear you. Right? And the student goes anyways. social media being what it is today, as we step further and further away from the millennial generation, okay, we now have Gen Z, Gen Alpha, okay, as Gen Alpha is coming up after Gen Z, all right, and I believe Gen Alpha are the people born in I want to say, is it 2025, something like that, okay. There's the next generation is coming up, okay, but no, Gen Alpha is already here. It's why do I think it's Generation Beta is what I think it is. I actually think it's Generation Beta because they start in 2025. Don't quote me on the generation name Beta, but I do know they start in 2025. It's Gen Alpha, and then I think it's Gen Beta. Gen Beta is not born yet. They'll be born, obviously, in 2025. But as we get further and further away from the millennials, young people are going to have less and less of an excuse, in my opinion, to say they didn't know about the dangers of student loans. The millennials got hit hard with it, okay? Because the millennials, if I had been a parent, the millennial would be my child. And I would have told my child, because I was a child of the 80s, I would have said to my child, I'm 57, so let's say I have a kid who's in their 30s or whatever, okay? I have said, yes, go to school. Wonderful. And then I would have been the Gen X parent in shock going, I can't believe the schools are this expensive. It wasn't like this in my generation when I went in the 80s. So the millennials really had it unfair, especially the earliest millennials. But as we step away from the millennial generation, now we've got, Gen Z. Gen Z should start being aware, especially the Gen Zs that are born a little bit later. There's like a 10, 12-year span for a generation, okay? They're not going to have quite as much of an excuse, all right? And I did a thing on the things that Gen Z are doing that is correct. As a matter of fact, I'm going to link it at the end of this video. And it's called Gen Z Save Us. Because Gen Z, that's the title of the video, Gen Z Save Us, okay? And let me write it down so I don't forget to link it, because I'm going to link it above. So when you get to the end of this video, okay, it'll be attached so you can go on there. But Gen Z is starting to figure it out. But now as we go to Generation Alpha, which are the young people in school right now, they should be fully aware by the time they get to college, because they will have had their grandparents, the millennials, they've had their great parents, okay, me, but really they would have had the millennials as their great, grandparents, even great grandparents. By the time Gen Alpha gets to college, this should be old news, all right, that college is really expensive and the traps we need to look out for, all right. And Generation Beta, starting to be born next year, should be a cakewalk.
Now, don't take this as me saying that there's anything wrong with college, because it's not. But what I will say is, I went just because I felt like this is what I was supposed to do. And
how many people went to college because they felt like they were supposed to? Or worse yet, went to college and majored in something your parents wanted you to major in, and it wasn't even a degree you wanted.
I was halfway through my bachelor's degree before I sat there and realized this is not what I want to do with my life.
For those who can't see the screen behind her student loan balance is approximately $48,000. $48,000. Heck, let's just round it off to $50,000, family. To do something, she goes, I don't want to do this. I had a friend who actually majored in teaching like 20 years ago, okay? We're still friends today. Literally, she gets a degree in teaching, full blown, all done, and then says, I decided I don't want it. It's expensive to say I don't want it.
And that is why I never finished that degree.
Great. So she's got $48,000 in student loan debt and she hasn't even finished a degree. Oh, but as we know from the earlier TikTok here that we just heard about 2 seconds ago, nobody's going to ask her for it anyway. So she could probably just stick on her resume that, yes, I did it. Hey, I'm not telling you to lie, cheat, and steal, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Since we talking about scams, let's talk about how much of a scam student loans are.
We're listening.
Push this agenda on us. Oh, go to college so you can get you a good job and use that good job to pay off these fucking student loans. As if that's the only way to make a decent living in America. When some of the most successful people have never stepped foot in a university before.
That is true. Some of the most successful people have not. But I'm going to tell you something that I tell my students, okay? Because I teach middle school. Well, it is true that, a college degree is not the end all be all, okay? But there are other skills, I remind them, that they also need to have. And it's not just a college degree, okay? But those who decide they're not going to go to college and they want to go, let's say, in the self-employment route, they want to go to a trade school. I think trade school is just outstanding. I think 2 years at community college and then 2 years at a state school is outstanding. But there are students who will say, well, I'm just going to go and be self-employed. And I go, that's fine. But there are a lot of hidden skills that you have to have, say, if you're going to go into self-employment. Okay? College is just one angle. It is not the end-all be-all. And especially now, more than ever. I definitely don't think college is the end-all be-all. And I think it's also, it's just my conspiracy theory, I think it's why a lot of schools are also pushing the resort aspect, meaning the comfort and the luxuries of the school. When college degrees were more elevated, meaning they were more valuable, you didn't have to have nail salons and spas and all of that stuff. You didn't have to have all that. I did a thing also on college resorts, okay? And I will link that at the end of the video also. I got to write this down so I don't forget it. So I will link at the end of this video, the Gen X video, and I'm also going to link a video I did on college resorts. So look for that at the end of this video.
Have never stepped foot in a community college before. If I would have known the things I know now back then, I would have never went to college. This is through 3 different schools, 2 different majors.
Which means she was not a good candidate to go to school to begin with. 3 different schools and 2 different majors, no degree. She was floundering. And remember, this happens when kids are young. Not everybody is supposed to go to college. And if you are designed to college, not everybody is designed to go to college at the same age. And that's okay.
1 degree, because I didn't even finish the second one. I'm literally like 2 semesters away from a bachelor's that I never finished and I never will finish. It ain't nothing wrong with a trade. Nurses and doctors, yeah. I had a criminal justice degree. Well, major. Well, I do have a criminal justice degree, but still.
You say why she might have had a hard time getting through school. God bless her.
And there is nothing in me that wants to pursue that career choice at age 30 now. But it was so pushed.
And I agree it was pushed, but then I also have to say we do have to take on our own responsibility. Okay, she can't shove it all on it was pushed. All right. No financial decision when we are an adult is made solely by someone else. We must accept some responsibility. Because if we don't accept some responsibility, then that means we're just going to set ourselves up to be victim again. Oh, more sad music. Yay. It's sad music. All right, let's hear this. We have a young lady. She looks like she's all of maybe 21, 22. She's holding a copy of her lovely certificate, or not her certificate, but her college degree. All right. She says, me in $120,000 debt over a bachelor's in psychology without plans to get a master's. Remember that other chick just a few videos back? She had a $50,000 degree in psychology, and she decided she's not even working she's not even working. And this young lady has $120,000 debt over a bachelor's. I rest my case. I said earlier. Okay, I said earlier, some people are getting these bachelor's degrees with $100,000, and I can tell you why. Because she probably went to a private school. That's really where you're going to start looking at the $100,000 degrees. I mean, not that you can't get them at a state school too, racking up a few, pieces of paper that show you have a degree. But private schools are notorious for bachelor's degree being $100,000. Oh, jeez, people. Okay, I think there's one more after this one. It's really short. So, and if you're still listening to this, God bless you. Okay, as you know, on this channel, I deep dive into stuff. I mean, way down deep. That's how this channel works, okay? All right, and I'm so glad you're here. If you're still here with me, I'm just thrilled that you're here. Okay, so we got a lady. She got some beautiful ivy in the background. She's sitting with her arms crossed and she's looking kind of sad. Nobody ever looks happy in these college debt TikToks. I wonder why. She says, finding out I have to go back to rationing food and utilities because I can't afford them with my private student loan payment of $387 starting in January. I think I picked the most tasteful music for these TikTok videos. All right, let's hear it. This lady says she has a student loan balance of $128,000. And this is the final one.
Consequences of my own actions.
Whether or not you completely pay off your student...
And that is the end of this. Family, this has been a real treasure trove of learning videos. Hold on here. Let me expand this out. And I want to thank the people in this TikTok for letting us learn from their experiences, because I can tell you as a YouTube creator who discusses, you know, her bankruptcies, her auto repossession, that's all me, okay? It takes a lot of guts to put your financial failures online. But the focus of this channel is and always will be to help other people learn from my mistakes. And so I want to thank the TikTokers in this video to share their debt experience, because it's not easy. And I will tell you, the first step to recovery is the willingness to admit it. So as much as, you know, we can listen to stories like mine, we can look at these TikTok videos and go, oh my God, how do you get into this debt? We also got to remember the first step to debt recovery is, can you admit it? And clearly they can. And so can I. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you will consider subscribing. Folks, my time is up. And so is yours. Good night, everyone.